The current spoiler warning level is Azure.
Friends and folks, for this episode you're looking at a spoiler warning level of Azure. We're talking about machines from UC Gundam side material you've probably never heard of, and will definitely never get any adaptation. Please enjoy the episode. Hello friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of Mechanista NG. Dylan, how long would part 3 take?
I don't know.
Okay, we can't do part 3.
Okay.
We'll have to save it. I am not full of time today.
Yeah, fair. All right.
So instead, we're gonna roll some dice. And I'm probably gonna say no, that'll take too long, like 5 times.
Well, yeah, I'll let you take care of that then.
You know, I've got a system. It's a bad system, but I have it.
We're on your schedule, so.
It's always very accommodating, though. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, we actually rolled UC. That's crazy.
I mean, you do
Never
all
happens.
the hard stuff. I just talk.
I do lots of hard things. I'm tired of doing hard things. I really want to do that, but that would take a really long time.
Put a pin in it.
Yeah.
Because we did
I'll
technically
make a
roll
little-
it, so you can put a pin in it for later.
Yeah, I could tease folks is the UC Engage grab bag. That'd be really fun.
That would be really fun, but yeah, no, that would take a little bit at this point.
What? Do I remember what the fuck this is? Sure. I think this will probably be okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, listen. First of all, the guessing game won't take long, I think.
Well, let's try it.
Let's get our snipping tool out, shall we? It's really hard to get the knee.
Oh, this bodes well. Probably will be easy to guess though. Okay. So this is a Kondo design. Is this the?
No kidding.
Is this the Goblin?
This is the Goblin.
Okay. It was like the first one that came to mind, but there's a lot of designs it could have been if I'm being honest. But yeah. All right, the MS-109 Goblin. This is a Kazuhisa Kondo mobile suit that is featured in Operation Buran 0079. I think it comes up in a couple of his other stories too. I feel like the Goblin comes up in a few of his things, like. Oh, I see. Okay, it's one of the variants that comes up in Revival of Zeon and stuff. Okay. And yeah, so pretty simple guy to talk about.
Whoops. Damn it. Fucking.
Oops.
Sorry. I'm just struggling with camera.
Okay.
Folks might have gotten a brief view of the lines I draw to let me know where the borders will be.
But yeah, no, this is so this is a weird.
God damn it.
Oh, still futzing with the camera.
Yeah, that one was just me being stupid.
Okay.
But anyway.
Gotcha. All right. But yeah, so the original Goblin is kind of, it's a weird mono eye suit. I'll describe it. So starting with the head, should note this is a Zeon mobile suit used by. So this is interesting, right? Because the story is called Operation Buran 0079, which is interesting. It's, I guess, okay, I'm trying to see when it takes place. Even though it's called that, I don't think it takes place in 0079, because if you look at the weapons featured, it includes a Zeta, a Nemo, a Gym 2, a Gym 3, etc. So I'm assuming maybe whatever Operation Buran was like a secret Zeon plan that was come up with in 0079, and so that's why they call it that.
It says it's a few weeks after Solomon. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's a few weeks after Solomon, it says.
That doesn't make sense
So
with the things listed.
No, it doesn't.
Um,
That's true.
That
I mean,
it also says strategy game. This is not a video game.
Strategy game.
This is a manga. I get the feeling that there is some incorrect copy pasting here.
I love that the pre-test type, but I love that the new Gundam in their writing here was around in 0079.
Yeah, no,
it fucking wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, and you look at the page even, and it mentions 0092 UC, and then does it say anything on the Goblin? It doesn't have a date on the Goblin, but I am fairly confident in saying that maybe it starts. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe the events of this start in 0079 also, but don't continue until Onward or something. Like, just the setup for it. I don't know. I don't think it takes place during that, though.
A time skip or something, yeah.
Anyway, so this is a Zeon mobile suit. The head. So you've got a very kind of stout head. It's very embedded in the torso, so we don't even really get to see the back of it too much. The head is very round. You've got a set of antennae on the top of it, very thin. There's a longer one, and then you can see there's actually like a little smaller one also just sticking out behind the larger one. You've got this large, like, almost looks like a coin slot in the front of the head, that is just like a big, hole in the front.
It's also funny because it looks like a coin slot, but it also looks like, and I guess this is in a way probably what it's supposed to be, like the slot they put in like Gunpla heads where you're supposed to stick the commander antenna.
Yeah, does look like.
But it's like this because this is such a budget model. Like in universe, this is a budget machine, right? Them trying to cut costs, and they're like, okay, leave the slot in case we want to put a commander antenna in there.
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I could see that. Because I think one of the Zaku variants actually has, like, the divot visible, and I can't remember which one. Because usually it's not, right? Unless you're building a Gunpla and you're purposely using, like, the head that doesn't put the horn in. Or that you put the horn into, but you don't do that. You also have some panel lining around the sides of the head, as well as some little, like, venting cuts. You've got... The mono eye is very low on this face, like, just nearer to the bottom. There's, like, an opening on the bottom of the face, and then you've got sort of it's not really like a Zaku, but you've got, like, a little cylinder on the front of the mouth sideways, and then you've got some tubes going back into the cheek area. So, it's got, like, the Zaku tube idea going on. Then, for the torso, very bulky torso. The torso does have, like, a 3-section setup. Normally you would associate this with Gundams, though I guess, what this is kind of like is, the Zaku 2 Kai has this kind of chest, setup also, where you've got, like, the, 3 torso sections. So, the midsection is the thickest. You've got a large piece of armor around the top, and then you've got a little cockpit hatch right below that. For the side sections, the pectorals, you've got they're a little taller than the middle section, so they go up around the head a little bit. They have these really large vents, like sort of somewhat squarish, though they start tapering as they go inward. And you've got basically 2 sets of them. You've got one that's more of a front-facing one, and one that is like a down-facing vent below that. For the midsection of the torso, you actually have a lot of exposed machinery then. So, like, you've got the thick, bulky armor above, but then, like, this midsection, like, where it's pinched in before the waist, you've got, like, lots of, like, little internals visible, lots of cabling. There's a little bit of armor around the front, right above the waist, the crotch area. You've got, like, this little block of armor. Then you've got the cables, and then kind of hanging off of it looks like these are attached to the bottoms of the pectoral sections. You've got almost like what is like a side skirt design, but all the way up here. And they look like they're like movable. So, they have like they'd be able to go out a little. So you've got these like little almost fake side skirts protecting the sides of the torso here. Um, and then, funnily, the back doesn't need any covering, because when we get to it, the backpack covers the rest of the exposed bit. For the arms, we've got really large shoulder parts on both arms. The left shoulder is your Zaku spike shoulder kind of style. Really big, though, because this is a Kondo design. Very rounded. You've got 3 large spikes, one outward, one going forward, one going back. In between the spikes, you have these large holes. I don't think these are like verniers or anything. These might just be like, just for saving weight on armor or something, because they just look like big empty holes. Optionally, maybe you could put more spikes in them.
Maybe.
Then you've also got like a little piece of armor hanging and protecting the bicep. For the right shoulder, it's just a huge rounded shield. No real detail on it other than the front and back parts of it on the sides of the shield, but facing forward and back relative to the mobile suit. You've got these little circular bumps that come out on it, but otherwise it's just like a very plain shield on the shoulder. The actual arms, you don't really get a good view of the shoulder piece since it is under the shoulders. You get these really tiny, thin biceps attached to a kind of a standard joint going on there. You also have a lot of visible cables going in from the upper shoulder area, connecting down into the forearm, actually. And you've got some connecting to the front of the forearm and some connecting into the back. For the forearms, really large and really long, considering how small the bicep is. The area around where the arm rotates, you actually have these big circular bumps. The armor continues around the back of the wrist, so you've got like one bigger armor plate. It looks like it might have some kind of wrist weapon mounted there. Or it could be a thruster, actually, because I don't know if these might be usable.
But it looks like it has a camera on the front at least.
Oh, that could be a camera, yeah. I was gonna say, this also looks like it could be used in either space or on the ground, so could also be specifically on the back of the elbow here. You have like this big square thruster, though it could be a vent also. Who knows? Could just be for venting heat. And then on the inner arm area, you've got a couple of like little sections of thinner armor going on. And then for the hands, looks like the hands, it's a little hard to see, and I'm trying to check some of the other images. It looks like this machine might only have 4 fingers, 3 normal fingers, and then a thumb. The way that they're armored, they're not quite as bug clawy as some of Kondo's other designs, but it definitely still evokes that. They're not your standard Gundam fingers at all. Moving on to the gigantic waist. The crotch piece is a large bulk of armor that extends so far down that it actually almost reaches like where the leg joints are with how far down it goes. And then for the skirts, you've just got these huge skirts. They do have separations, so you do have like a front, side, and rear skirt section. But they're really large and rounded, and they kind of flow continuously, so they all look like, one huge skirt when all the pieces are down. In between the front skirt section and the side skirt section, you do have like a little thruster in between facing downward. And then for the rear section, it's just 2 big halves for the rear skirt. You have a little bit of like exposed bits on the area at the top of the skirt. You have like this little square cutout. For the thighs, not visible really. You have some rounded armor that is barely visible in the frontal view. For the leg joint there, you've got like the circular caps on the joint, so you know where the joint is, and there's some cables running from the back of that into the back of the legs. The calves are sort of like you squished Zaku 2 style armor, with no cables though either. It's just rounded armor. It's got the same kind of shape though, where it got a little bit of a lip or going around the outside top, and then as you go down, it bell bottoms out, and then you have the little like a little bell bottomy lip going around the bottom of each leg. And then for the feet, really huge feet, you've got a top foot section that, again, very evocative of like the Zaku 2, with some armor below that in 2 sections, and then the toes, you've got like a bottom foot section going around. It looks like there might be some splits in the armor in case like the foot needs to like move a little bit, but otherwise very simple. The backpack, you've got a large backpack that, it's kind of funny, the back of it actually has a large cuff that protects the back of the head. Then you've got, I assume, this big cylinder on the side. This might be like a propellant tank or something just plugged in, is what I was imagining. And then
like a slot for it.
Yeah. And then you've got some exposed cabling in the middle of the backpack. The bottom of the backpack, you have 3 large thrusters. The middle one has like a little scoop to direct the thrust. It also has like a little, almost like a roll bar going on the bottom here. It goes down and then around the first thruster, above the top of the second one, and then below the third one again. I'm wondering if this also, you have this big hollow area. This might also be a camera, actually, just going with, like, if this is meant to have a panoramic cockpit, it might actually just be, because it was reminding me of, like, the Gyaradoga or something, you know, having the cameras on the backpack. And then, yeah, so this is an interesting machine. It's, as you said, the whole thing with the Goblin is it's kind of meant to be a cost-cutting, like, mass production suit that can be used on the space and the ground. And
we, like, it's a tiny little guy. Like, well, tiny is a little strong, but like we see it alongside other mobile suits, and it comes up to about their armpit.
Yeah, well, it's 15 meters, which is funny because so he's doing this before F91, right? Operation Buran is in 1990. Revival of Zeon, the video game, is from 1988. And so is the manga. So, like, the suit is funny because it's the size of a Crossbone Vanguard suit. It's 15.5 meters, but it's before the Crossbone Vanguard, like, before that was a real-life concept, you know?
Well, and it's just shaved down. Like, it's still as wide as a normal mobile suit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
a fun guy. It's just great.
It's very squat. I like its design a lot. It's a very strange little weirdo. And yeah, it's a very quintessentially Kondo design in a lot of ways, which I think is a good thing. I like Kazuhisa Kondo's design sense. For a couple of variations on just the normal Goblin, yeah, I was gonna post that. Perfect timing. You can see here, like, the paint job is interesting. It's got, like, for this ground model here, like, sort of a yellow and green camouflage going on. It's, like, mostly yellowish armor, and then you've got, like, these green, you know, stripes going all around it, wiggly stripes. Funnily, the shoulder, though, for this variation right here, the shoulder is in all black. Oh, and then we can actually see it's colored in pink there, so that's also a camera.
That's a camera?
Yeah. A thing that I like, though, is this variation here, as you can see on the back, like, and Kondo will do this with a lot of his mobile suits. He will just draw them having, like, little field customizations. So this ground type 1 that we see in the back here, one of the major changes is you can see the backpack actually has these 2 little, like, they might even be also external propellant tanks, right? Like these long tanks.
They look like propellant tanks. I think they just plug into the back of this right here.
Yeah, you can actually see like a little slot there. So, yeah. And then this other one on the foreground, we don't see a lot of it, other than the thing that's weird on it is its left shoulder is not the spiky shoulder. It looks to have I don't know if it's the shield or it's actually, I guess it's not the shield. It looks to just have a unique shoulder design. Has like an extra plate of armor bolted around the top, but we don't really get another good view of it. I just find that interesting. And like, I'm actually pulling up some of Kondo's publications. So an interesting thing with the spiky shoulder. So I mentioned that they look like they might be like slots. And I'm taking a look. Oh, this is interesting. So if you look at this page that I'm linking,
I might have just seen the same thing.
So this goblin here is seemingly, there's one in the back right there, and it is seemingly in the same era as the Gundam. Because that is the Gundam down there.
Has these things in it, and they say atomic on them.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there with that.
Let me look at Baron and see if there's anything about large nuclear recovery in Solomon Islands. Oh, after Solomon, they don't mean Solomon. Well, whatever. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is bizarrely written.
I'm assuming it's Google translated.
One day, however, Brown will receive the remaining life of a large nuclear recovery. What the fuck does that mean?
Buron. I assume that's Braun, are they going with Von Braun is named after a guy, like, in the Universal Century rather than, real life? Like, is that what they're going with? Like, I don't...
I mean, Buron is a Russian thing.
Oh, is it? Well, okay, character is... And then we have a character named Frederick W. Brown?
Yes. I just checked. Buron is Russian for blizzard. I think that's more... Given Kondo's inclinations, I think that's more what we're doing.
Okay. This is a very hard to find information about story or anything about it at all. Which, a lot of Kondo's stuff... has not really been brought to the modern day, and it hasn't been translated. Like, this was a story that was in Hobby Japan in 1990. I don't even have scans of 1990 Hobby Japan. I do have... I've started collecting them. I have a bunch of other Hobby Japan issues, but not... I have a 1981 and a bunch of, like, later 90s ones.
So we're gonna find out what's gonna happen is one of these days GBO2 is gonna update with the Goblin.
God.
And it's gonna have a unique skill, which is like once per battle, click your touchpad when you die to detonate a nuclear bomb. And it'll be like, what?
I'm checking through because I wanted to see if I could actually find some other images of the Goblin. So here's a funny thing too. This is a quirk of Kondo's that comes up a lot. So you notice it says PKW-109, and then of course I have this image right here, which is gives it the MS-109 name. So accidentally pasted it over that. So it's one of those ones where he doesn't keep a consistent name on it, which. That tends to happen, honestly, with a lot of Kondo's work, in my experience, is he will just kind of give multiple numbers, just depending on what work it is, rather than just a consistent one. It's not even like a matter of, you might think, oh, well, maybe it's like, one of these is like the call sign by the Federation for it. No. It's just that. Now, so, when it comes to armaments, there's actually two we can talk about it, and they both show up here, funnily enough. Though I'm curious about this back illustration, what it is meant to be. So, usually when you find illustrations of the Goblin, or like data on it in different things, it will mention it either having a machine gun, specifically a 120 millimeter, or a bazooka, just raw bazooka.
Or a bazooka.
Yeah. So in the publication when I was just digging through it, Kazuhisa Kondo 2D and 3D works. Go ahead, from Mobile Suit Gundam to original mechanism. It mentions the bazooka and it doesn't mention the machine gun. Though I'm looking at both of these weapons, and neither of these seems like a bazooka to me. The square opening does not feel like that would be optimal for a bazooka.
This feels like a beam rifle.
And this definitely feels like a machine gun looking at it. Just
that's got to be the
design
machine
language.
gun. This seems like it's got to be a beam rifle.
So I'm gonna take a look in my other Kondo books, because I have 3 of them. I have 2 Gundam based books, and then one that is all of his stuff. But from what I can find, I'm digging through them, and there's not a lot. He draws his designs in there, and they're fun, but he doesn't really provide a lot of detail on them. Overall, like, he's not like, oh yeah, here's the data sheet with all of, like, the armaments.
It's not the style of designer he is.
No.
Like, he doesn't make designs without context completely, but he really likes the drawing them and not talking about them as much.
Well, and I kind of get it. Again, if they are meant to be, like, military weapons fielded, like, we've talked about tanks. There's 10 trillion variants on different tanks where it's just like, yeah, some guys on, I don't know, this front of the war decided, hey, we're gonna load a crane on this machine so we can use it to, like, clean up debris, or, you just get stuff like that all the time. And I think that's the kind of designer he is. Yeah?
Dylan, I'm fucking crying.
What?
So Frederick F. Brown, here's him in 0079, right?
Okay.
Loyal soldier of Zeon.
Uh-huh.
And then, I guess, he goes Quattro Pagina by way of Bionic Commando. What the fuck happened?
Amazing. Holy shit. Kondo. Oh, that's so funny. That's so
not the same
good.
person.
That's so
Like,
good, though.
No, actually, I have to pull this back up. It's like, okay, different hair color. Different hair, like, style. Like, he's got straighter hair that is supposed to be a little wavy and tamed here. Like, different, like, facial structure. Like, what the fuck is happening?
That's so funny. That's so funny. He had a bad life, and this is what happened with him.
Just like Snake, yeah.
For the 2 guns to describe them here, though, the one that seems more like a machine gun, with the colored illustration, if you're watching the video, it's got a carry grip on top. It's got kind of a standard stock on the back. It's a very compact gun, altogether, very boxy. You've got I presume that's the barrel above, going down, and then this bottom part could be a targeting scope of some sort, or it could be a grenade launcher. It could be either. It's got, a secondary, shorter, stubbier little circular cylinder extending below it, right? So, could be.
It could just be like gas let off or something. It could be all sorts of things, you know. It's very much in that, like, I feel like there's a style of aesthetic that you'll see with, like, with Gundam weapons and stuff, where it's like, oh, this looks like it could be out of Contra, right?
Yeah. This gun in particular, now that I actually compare it, I guess not as much. At first I was looking at it, I'm like, this reminds me of, like, a FAMAS.
Sure, whether you're just thinking that top.
I think it's the top bit,
rail,
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's like this one's got a fucking bayonet, top mounted bayonet, huh? Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, that's an F1, I think.
Anyway, yeah, so that's one of the armaments. The other one that you mentioned looks much more like a beam rifle, which I am inclined to also believe.
I mean, it even has, like Gelgoog beam rifle vibes in parts of this design.
Mm-hmm.
Not the barrel.
Well, it looks almost like a beam rifle with, like, a big coat over it, right? Like,
yeah,
like, it's got these extra armor parts on it. You've got a double scope setup, which is kind of fun. You've got one, like, above the trigger area that's, like, smaller, and then you get an even taller one on top of that.
It's funny because, like, I when he did this would not have been a thing, right, in modern military. I don't think, but it is kind of a popular thing to do these days, right?
I didn't know
like
that.
having a scope with, like, a reflex, right? So you can sort of, like, really quickly just move it depending on what range you want to do. It's, like, not a thing that you're gonna see, like. Mostly you'll see it in video games because mostly it's a cooler idea than it's actually worth the money.
It's also probably not something that you could practically do in a firefight situation, right? Like,
a lot of times, yeah.
I mean, this is the problem with a lot of, like, cool gun ideas is when you're under fire, I imagine, tactically figuing out stuff is not necessarily your average soldier's thing that they're going to be doing. They're going to be, either retaliatory fire or, like, suppressing back so that they can, like, move into a better position. I can't imagine, like, you know, outside of like you thinking you're John Wick, trying to do too many attachments and whatnot. The barrel, though, very tall and square, so it feels like, you know, some kind of thick beam rifle overall. Does have a bit of a stock. You can't really see too much of it in the illustration. Has this I think this is actually textured as like an undergrip, so the other arm can like reach over and grab underneath. Right there. Just because it having the texture there. And this looks like this would be cooling on top, like some kind of like block of metals that would absorb the heat and then, you know, radiate it outward. To me, at least. And yeah, I think this design is a really cool, goofy, kind of cute design. Don't have a lot of detail about it here. We do have some variations, again, that come up in other things, and they'll have some familiar elements and some not familiar elements. Yeah?
Just as a demonstration real quick, here is the sort of thing. It's like you have your scope for long range, and then you have this sort of canted, like, you know, just red dot on the side, so you can quickly flip it for closer range stuff.
I think it was really funny finding out that the slightly angled thing for looking down the sights is actually really good. Because I remember when this minor gun thing that Dylan happens to know. I remember when John Wick came out, people were like, wait, why is he doing that? Like, why is he firing it, you know, like, quote-unquote gangster style with the angle? And it turned out, no, that was based on an actual, like, tactical thing of, hey, if you have the gun pressed up to you at an angle, I think it's like, it keeps the gun compact to you, you're still seeing down the sight with your dominant eye properly, and you're, you know, able to, it's braced up against your body, too, so you're taking the recoil more, too. I was like, oh, okay, that's like a real thing. Which I figure would be the case, because sometimes when people CinemaSins things, my brain just starts going, I wonder if they thought about this when they filmed it, and then
it's especially, you know, like, listen, I'm sure there are things you could poke holes at in John Wick, but it's like a movie made by stuntmen and gun nuts. They probably did that for a reason.
Yeah. It only takes a few seconds to look up, too, is the thing. I'm going to try to see, while we talk about these variations, I'm going to dig up, I have guides to some of Kondo's games with art, and I'm going to try to see if these have more illustrations pertinent to the Goblin or any information. I don't think they do, but I want to look, because I can. Plus,
I will say, so one thing that's interesting, and, you know, we post these episodes on MAHQ as well as the Scanline Media Patreon and Scanline Media site.
Yeah.
And YouTube technically, but YouTube's I'm mostly just using as hosting. Over on MAHQ, there's only an entry for the 109A. And I'm curious, like, of the people involved, of the people on the internet maintaining these sorts of databases and documents, Chris is the smartest one.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm curious why it's like this. I wonder if Chris had, like, I would love to hear, and, you know, maybe it's just Chris hasn't had time for it because Chris is a fucking person in the world. But I wonder if there's, you know, it makes me a little hesitant talking about the variants and stuff when it's like, I wonder why.
Well, are these even official variants, or are these just...
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get you. You look at them and it's like, well, is this actually a variant, or is this just someone saw art where it had a different layout and then they went, oh, okay, this must be a variation or something.
It makes it hard to trust some of this stuff.
Yeah,
but I think there's enough information here, and, you know, we got a podcast to do. I would say
we can at least talk about the differences.
I am not much of an expert. Yeah, I'm not much of an expert. Dylan is. But even so, we are fallible, so, you know.
Well, and funnily enough, I have a third illustration that is one that the wiki doesn't have, so don't worry. I just found... It turned out it was good to grab this, because I found one. So that's fun.
So this is the A that I'm posting.
Yeah.
But I only have one image of it.
Funnily, there's actually... So, the D is interesting. Well, I'll have something to talk about with the D also. So the A here...
There's a really good custom build, but Dylan won't let me post that, and Dylan's correct to not let me post that.
Yeah. So the A here, seems, honestly, to me, if I want to describe, like, the true difference, when we looked at the version that had the backpack parts, that's where the difference seems to be, right? The backpack has these large
Pretty much.
tanks on it, basically, on the back, these longer ones. You also can see an extra antenna on it. The bumps also now have, like, kind of a classic Gundam, circle with the line through it, rather than just being... So it looks more like a cap. Otherwise, the design is basically identical. You've got the same kind of head. The tubes are given, instead of just being, like, long cables, they are given the Zaku style, like, armor piping around it. But this is a very minor design variation. And the wiki claims this is from Revival of Zeon, is what this one goes with.
It's tricky because, like, probably this is just, Kondo's art varying because people draw things differently at different times. But, like, the proportions do look different.
Yeah, its proportions are different. I think the illustration on the right, is actually a later illustration. Because that's the one, that's the one that's, like, in the compilation book that I have and whatnot. And you can see, if you look at some of his illustrations, for instance, this is for the MS-109A Goblin. Also, this is the illustration that is used in my book for, what is this one? Advanced Operation. And so, it also, changes a lot.
Right, that is the one MAHQ has, actually.
Oh, yes, okay. Well, that makes sense, because this one is actually on a page that says that. And, like, this one, not only is the proportions different, there are some more design differences. The head has a lot more antenna on top of it. The shoulder, you can actually see the thrusters in there, so this one is running with these little circles being verniers. The mouthpiece is a bit bigger. It's not as crunched in. You can still see the backpack has the same fins, though. The hands are a bit different. The hands are almost more standard Gundam hands, overall. They actually have 5 fingers on them and such. This one actually, funnily, this one has 5 fingers, but it's the buggier hands that I associate with Kondo. As opposed to the big armored hands over there. It's interesting to compare. The legs also... The skirt is more squared, and the legs have these, these are present on all the designs, but he really emphasizes by drawing, like, thicker lines, the parts of, the calves having their own, like, the way the armor divots in. It's just way more of a bulge here, whereas on these it's a lot more subtle. And yeah... So this is the one that was in the Advanced Operation Manual. And all of these are, theoretically given the A designation. So, the D is not the D. It's not called the Goblin, according to this book I have in front of me, which is kind of funny. Yeah. I'm going to see if the wiki has
I will say, well, before we move on, just the background that the wiki has for this, and who knows how much... This one seems fairly well translated, which makes me trust it a little more. It says the A variant was designed with cost cutting in mind and was suitable for ground and space, and the cost was reduced to about 2/3.
Yeah. Trying to see, I'm going to quickly, not the cleanest thing, but because I'm just curious what this little blurb in the game guidebook says also. Let me check that. Machine developed by Zeon, who was short on mobile suits and needed something mass-produced as a top priority. Its performance was higher than expected. It can be considered a cheaper version of the Marasai. So, yeah, it's also...
Sure.
They needed to make a lot of these, and they needed to make them cheap. And it actually had good performance in spite of being... something made on the cheap, so they kept making it.
You don't need hide-in space.
Yeah. So, here's the interesting thing. The wiki goes with, after all these now, the wiki goes with saying there's a D-type goblin, for which they use this illustration that you have linked. Now, they go with MS-109D. Advanced Operation goes with the MS-109D being the Stuka, not the...
Ooh, what is this, friend?
Not a goblin. Now, if you look at this, though, this is the same machine.
Uh-huh.
And then, funnily enough, there's a Stuka entry on the wiki that then uses the goblin's picture that we already went over. The PKW-1... And it goes with PKW-109. So,
Oh, guys.
yeah. So something is clearly going weird here. Now,
Well, and then it links to MAHQ, and on MAHQ it is the same.
Yeah.
The PKW-109 Stuka, which uses this goblin art.
Yeah. So well, here's the thing. In different stories, he may have called it different things, right? They may have used this illustration to sub in. So this is just something I find interesting though with like the designations here. And so when it comes to the Stuka / the Goblin D here, the idea is this is still meant to be it's meant to be a better version of the Goblin, right? Like we have done some improvements that help it out, I think specifically with ground combat, but doesn't really break the bank. So we have made it like better for our purposes right now. So when we look at this design, changes from the Goblin, the head is overall still the same overall idea. You've got the antenna, you've got the small tubes, the very low facing mono eye. The torso has added an extra camera, whether it's a square style camera or this one where it's like a rounded one with like a little circular camera embedded. It just depends on which art you're looking at. I do like the addition also, especially on the left illustration, of like the little hooks on it for like loading it into like, if it's loaded in like a plane or something, just to have it held in place. The blocks on the sides of the torso also, instead of having vents, now have these big double square things going on. These still...
If this thing used a beam rifle, they would be E-packs, but...
Yeah,
because it would be really fun just to have E-pack... I guess that would actually kind of imitate the way you do, like, a like ammo vest on your chest, where just little E-packs you could just drop into your hand.
Mm-hmm.
But
then when we go to the lower waist, it's still very exposed. You've got, like, a double cable setup. You can see a bit more of it here, and it's very obvious it's just like the Zaku's waist setup, but it's got two of them stacked, which is fun. And still has like the little bit of armor hanging down from the side of the torso, protecting the sides of the cable there. The shoulders now are both very rounded. They have... I assume this is a camera at the end. It's got these like weird little teardrop almost shaped bumps. And this is consistent around both of them. I don't know what's up with those. And then you've got a really large bit of armor overhanging and protecting the bicep. Bicep, just the square bicep. The forearms are designed very much the same as the Goblins. When you get to the waist and the skirts are designed the same way, complete with having the thruster in between the front skirt and the side skirt. The legs are another major difference. The inner and outer, okay, it is on both. It's a little hard to see just because, especially with this illustration. You have an arrangement of like 3 square thrusters on both the inner and outer calf on the bottom, which is kind of fun. And then the feet are the same design. The backpack looks like it has a bunch more propellant put into it. It's got these large cylindrical tanks put into it. And I would presume it would have 4 of them, given, you can see 2 here, so I presume there's 2 on the other side as well. While we can't see it, the backpack also looks to be more elaborate. You can see these big spikes jutting up from, like, these parts on the back. But we don't have a rear view in any of these books, unfortunately. So. But yeah, so this is an interesting one. Just in that, it's funny to me that they didn't actually, label this as a variant. And, sorry to say, 6, we have one more. And MAHQ has this one. Hopefully this is not running you too long, but...
No, I mean, listen, we haven't hit an hour yet. We're fine.
Yeah. We've got the MS-109F, which I guess you could call the Goblin F type, though both the book here and MAHQ go with calling it the Gaff, which appears to be an artillery-based version. And it looks like it's the same art everywhere from what I can see. Yeah, I figured you would like this one. This one is the wiki doesn't even have this one. That's even funnier, actually. I was looking and it's like, nope. This seems to be an artillery modified version of the Stuka at this point. changes a couple more elements, and so we'll go over it. Let me just quickly translate that bio, because I'm curious if that is what it is, because I'm just inferring based on its design. It feels obvious to me, but yeah, the final model of the Stuka series, this is a long-range support machine. It's no good at close combat, but provides firing support for other forces, so.
Okay, so the MHQ does have the A Goblin. It's listed as the A Stuka. And then has 2 different entries for the D Stuka.
Yeah, I mean, again, might be
including
a story
one
to story
that looks
thing.
like the one. Yeah, this. You know what, Chris? I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game. Good work.
Also, funnily enough, not a machine we're covering this episode. Have we covered the Marasai? Feels like we should have, but maybe not.
We might not have. I can.
I'm just checking real quick. Marasai. We did do the Marasai. Okay, it was an old episode.
Sure, that makes sense. Marasai design I've never liked that much.
Funnily enough, with the Marasai though, so it's RMS 108. So that's another proof that the Goblin is itself like a simplified Marasai, because 108 to 109. Just a little trivia I wanted to note here. Yeah, so the Stuka here, the head now has like the very much looking like a German helmet kind of head around it, very much like the the Zaku Kai second head. You've got the tubes in the face. The mono eye still set at the bottom. Still feels a little low, but with the way the hat is, it doesn't feel as low as it does on the Goblin. The torso changed pretty significantly. We've got the middle block is pretty similar, but it looks like it has like more armor. You've got a lot more of these like little square bits bolted onto it. And then the pectorals now you've got searchlights on them and like cameras as well. And then you've got on the underside, instead of it just being some vents on the front, you've got a large block of armor running around to the back. And it's got it's like reactive armor, I assume, given that it's got like the X on it.
Well, the thing is, that doesn't always indicate reactive armor. You would also put that on, for example, ammunition. So it could also be that that's a big ammo drum for ammo for the artillery.
Okay.
It just indicates something that if it hits, there will don't be near this when it gets hit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that why they put them on like gasoline cans too and stuff like the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that was like the one other example I could think of with the X is like reactive armor and like gasoline cans. Okay.
You will also see it on big ammo drums sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like it's.
Don't hit this.
It's funny that it uses reactive armor as well, but yeah, the logic is like this will react.
Yeah, this will.
Perhaps that's the design. Perhaps that's the side effect.
This will harm you if you were near it. Okay. The arms have been simplified quite a bit, which honestly makes sense given that this doesn't seem to use any handheld weapons. The shoulders are smaller, still armored. You've got, like, rounded armor in the style of the spiky shoulders, just without spikes, though you do have a little, like, cap at the end of the armor. The bicep is pretty much the same as it's been, same with the joint. The forearms are simplified. It doesn't have, like, the separation of the outer and inner armor. It's just one big square armor piece. The elbow extends back a little. And then at the end you have, like, little three-finger hands, kind of Beerland style. The waist is much larger and more flat now. The crotch piece juts out forward quite a bit, and then the front skirts are now completely new. They've got these large vents on the top of them. You have some extra thrusters on the bottom here. Very rounded armor. The side skirts, I should have noted, there is no exposed waist on this unit now either, like it was on the other ones, like no exposed area between like the waist and the torso. These side skirts are just like a set of 3 thrusters, and I really like the design of these actually. They're like very bulbous. It's almost it's like a rounded triangle, I guess is how I would describe it, and then you've got like coming out in an angle, like at each of the points is a large circular thruster at the bottom here, which is fun. So you've got 3 of those, one facing kind of forward at an angle, one facing back at an angle, and one facing just outward. The rear skirts have now been fully replaced. Unfortunately, we don't have a back view of them. However, we can tell that they are not only large, they go all the way to the ground, and they have extra little, like, mounting braces on them.
Yeah.
As for the legs look like they might be using the same legs underneath, but we can't really see them too well because the skirts cover so much of the legs now. And then the foot, you've got, like, the top foot bit of armor, and then you've got visible, like, flat bottom part of the foot. As for the backpack, we've got a very fancy backpack setup. We've got 2 cannons attached to the top. These cannons, I presume, would be... It doesn't say anywhere what type of weapon these are. So these look like they would be beam cannons to me, just given, like, the design of the scope on them, being the more Gundam-style scope. But these could be solid. I don't know. They're big, though. They have... I like that they have the flat beds on the bottom of them, because they rest on the torsos, which have also been flattened now, instead of having the angular torso of the Goblin. The top of the torso, like the pectoral sections, are completely flat, and it's so these cannons can rest on them just fine. Which is kind of cool.
So I was gonna say I want to think that they're solid because of the reactive thing beneath it, which I was gonna guess is ammo for it. But this is Kondo. I don't see a feeding mechanism, and Kondo would absolutely draw a feeding mechanism.
Mm-hmm. And now we can't really see a lot of the backpack because of the nature of the illustration, but it looks very fancy because he drew a lot more lines back here. You can see a lot of, like, you can see, like, a thruster or a vent. You can see lots of exposed, like, wiring and machinery on the back. And yeah, I like the design of this thing just because I like these weird cannons. And I always love the rear skirts being, you know, like a brace, for it being an artillery unit. Which I guess this feels like the final evolution in the same way that, like, you get the Zaku 1 sniper, right? Where it's like, well, this is cheap and easy to use. What if we just made it so it just stays in the back, right? It stays in the back, and it can do a lot of damage, and it's not a very good machine still. It's still made on the cheap, but it can do a lot of damage while hiding out in the back. And that feels pretty cool to me. I always like machines that do that. And yeah, for the Goblin, I believe this would be... Yeah, these would be the main units related to it. You've got the Goblin, the Stuka, and the Gaff. These seem to be the consistent 3 that are related.
So going back through, because of our naming stuff, first of all, I want to say, looking at MAHQ's page, the PKW name is used on Buran UC0079, right?
Oh!
Which makes me think that by the time it's being called MS, that's the Neo Zeon stuff.
Not only that, but if it's being used in 0079 and it's meant to be a successor to the Marasai, if he decided he wanted to use the design in something that wasn't... The Marasai's not made yet, so he can't label it that. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, I think he just...
Sure.
If Operation Buran came later, he decided, well, I want to use the Goblin in this, and I don't care about what background I already gave it. And if that comes first, then he just wasn't thinking, and then he decided later, hey, I want this to be a Marasai variant, actually, so I'll relabel it. And if there's a contradiction between stories, who cares? That's all Gundam side stories. It's probably his logic.
But just... So I've renamed stuff on my list here just to go through. The art is just going to be taken from MHQ, so a few instances you saw some better Dylan art. But just this one I am going to call the PK-109 Stuka. Too many tabs open. Apologies.
Well, it's all going to be
ordered them.
MS and PK, and it's going to be the 109 and then 109A and 109D, basically.
Right. This is the 109 Stuka. This is the 109 Goblin.
Okay.
And then 109D Stuka. So basically, I'm only calling one of them the Goblin.
Okay. And then you have the 109F, which that one's at least easy.
Yeah, the Gaff, that one's pretty straightforward. Because the Gundam Wiki doesn't know about it and so can't fuck this up.
I was going through real quick just to see if the art book had any. There is one really funny unit I need to pull up. So you know that one with the atomic on there? That's not that is not actually what you think it is. That is not a Goblin. I found it here. because you can see it's still got the containers on the shoulder.
Oh, that's that other thing I saw, like the
Yes.
Guron or something.
Do you know this is actually called the Gelb, the PKW-107
The Gelb, yes.
Gelb. I wonder if in Buran, if this is the precursor to the Goblin instead of the Marasai, like in that story's continuity. Just given,
Sure.
given the number and given its overall design, this feels like a weird in between of like a Zaku and a Goblin. I found this while I was looking through the book, because I was looking through and I was like, does he have anything more, like any fancy art just to share with the video people before we go?
Dylan, are you ready for the plot to thicken?
Oh.
Not really in an important way.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
On the Gundam Wiki, the Mobile Suit Gundam Advanced Operation page, which is the 1992 PC-98
Yes.
strategy game, right?
It double lists the Stuka and it gives it a weird name in the other one, like Suzuka or something.
Yes.
I think
yes,
I think they fucked up
got...
at translating the katakana for Stuka.
Probably. Yeah. They've got the Stuka and the
It's the
Suzuka
Sturm
as
problem,
the
right?
190.
Like the
Sure.
Shroom, as it famously.
Yeah, when I spotted, I knew that was probably what was happening, but it's still funny.
It is funny.
So.
Yeah, no, I don't mind mentioning it. I just, I did notice that, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even.
Plus? Do we have
What?
Do we have any art of the Dom Plus? Is this a known thing? Yes, MHQ. Thank you, Chris. Dom Plus.
Yeah. Is this the one that's also known as like the mid-range fire support? No, I'm thinking of the Gelgu.
No, there's so little info on this.
Kondo loves to give us a very just very straightforward naming conventions. Like Gelgug and Gelgug mid-range fire support type and stuff like that. He's very straightforward with
Sure.
them.
I mean, I think I closed the tab because I had too many tabs open, but I was looking at a translated interview with him about some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah?
And it was just him basically being like, yeah, I mean, I like to push back on the myth of mobile suits. They're fucking guns.
That's funny.
Basically.
That's really
like,
funny.
Yeah,
like,
fair enough.
Oh, like as in like he doesn't want to make them like heroic, I assume. Is what he meant.
Like, yeah, like he's like they're just pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
Right? Is kind of what he's getting at.
That makes sense. Just a couple more little things to share before the end, just on video. For the gift for the video folks. We have some models. I believe these are Kotobukiya, maybe.
Oh, so these are like official?
Well, they're garage kits, but they're official. But they are garage kits. Like, this is actually by Goiken Muyo Factory. These are 1/220th scale kits, and I presume they probably sold them at some conventions in the 80s that you'll never be able to find.
What the hell gun is that?
Another gun.
Okay.
And this one also goes with calling it a Goblin instead of a Stuka, even though it's also the D.
That's true.
Yeah. The diorama was really cool here. It did like a sandstorm, kind of going through thing.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh.
What is that?
Oh, that's the Marasai's. That's the Marasai's beam rifle.
That's the Marasai.
But real big. It's real big and goofy looking, but I like it. Yeah. But I mean that everything being inconsistently named does in fact fit though with what we're saying with Kondo being like they're just weapons,
Oh, sorry. Put it back up real quick.
Sorry.
Evocative of it, but clearly not the same actual rifle. It doesn't have the weird bend. So it's even like, it's even probably fucking Kondo being like, I mean, no, they're not directly related, but.
God. Like I say, it's, I get it. And Kondo is one of the many military otaku guys who I believe probably got into Gundam through the modeling scene. So that he is a military otaku, ultimately. I like a lot of his work, but this is how he thinks about it. This is how he thinks about these machines. He is not thinking of them as, oh, these are, my like bespoke heroic and villainous weapons. These are just guns. Mobile Suit is a gun that is really big. And of course that's how he thinks of it. Yeah, he's a military guy.
When we were starting this show, when you were introducing me to the sort of the wider world of Gundam designers, there were ones where I was like, kind of as a survival instinct, there were some of them I decided I didn't click with their style as much, because if I liked everything, it was too overwhelming, right? And I think Kondo's, like, everyone is drowning in skirts design style, at first I found a little, not off-putting, but just sort of not to my vibe, but this works really cool.
It's been really funny to see the evolution, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember that you didn't really love his work, but yeah. And I mean, here's a good example of how you can tell, by the way, that he's like a military otaku. He loves to draw real military vehicles alongside his other vehicles. Like, look at this ridiculous goof here, and then he's drawing like some real jets that I don't know as well down there. You know, that's just how he is, and how he's always been. He will draw, he likes what he likes, and he knows what he likes. You know, he draws one of my, another one example, you know, we may have talked about this on the Gay Dry episode, but, on his Gay Dry illustration here, he draws one of my favorite little Soviet, airplanes. Look at that little guy. I love that thing. The I-16.
Yeah.
It looks like a toy, and he draws it alongside it. You know, this is how he draws things together. Back when the Gay Dry is called the Cubile. Speaking of things that have inconsistent names with him.
Yeah.
Alright, 6. Where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me on Blue Sky, 6.scanlinemedia.com, or just 6detmar. You can find my work at scanlinemedia.com or patreon.com/scanlinemedia. And, of course, you can talk to us and request things and stuff over on the Scanline Media Discord. Link is down in the show notes. I say that every time, and only last week did I realize that wasn't true. I have fixed this. Oh. It's in the show notes now. Sorry.
And someone might want to ask you, but then they can't, because they would need to use Discord. I mean, there were
flaws in my approach.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. But yeah. No, the link's there now. Come by. Drop a request. A request list is getting damn short. So.
All right.
Dylan, what about you?
You can find me at lowpolyrobot. Well, I guess, yeah, it's at lowpolyrobot.busky.social. I always forget Blue Sky's way of doing it, but lowpolyrobot.
But if you search Blue Polyrobot, you'll find you. Yeah.
And yeah, I usually just post games and whatnot. Most recently, I had been going through some PS1 games, and I ran into 2 mediocre 3D fighters in a row of different types, and I was losing my mind. Kensei is maybe the fighter with the most boring character selection I've ever seen, like just in terms of aesthetic design. And Killing Zone feels so much worse to play, but it does have a voice yell when you start a round, "beat you up," which is really funny.
It's a little hostile, don't you think?
It's really good. I don't know. I love the voice doing that. The game's terrible though. My first round was the characters are all like, they're like movie monsters, but their name, like a lot of them are, but their names are like, the Frankenstein's name is Drake. The guy who's just a guy is named Gush, and the skeleton was named Cal. And I was just like, I don't know what you're doing. I truly don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, I was like, well, fuck this, and I started playing some PS2 games instead, because I was like, well, let's try some PS2 games I've never played instead. Maybe I won't run into a mediocre 3D fighter for a third time in a row. Instead, I ran into a kind of a cute RPG that is simple but fun. It's called Sagashi ni Iko Yo. It was made kind of like to be someone's like first RPG. It was made in 2001, so it has like a very striking look, because the character models don't look as good as you would expect on a PS2, but the environments look really nice. And like, so it's clearly not a PS1 game when you look at it, you know, but like the models are a bit more simple than you would expect for a PS2, and it's because it was made relatively early in the PS2's lifespan. And it was made to be like someone's like, you know, this is like, hey, if you've never played an RPG, here, you could learn how to play it. And it's got like really like low numbers because of that. And a lot of puzzle-based gameplay, and it's very menu-driven, which is interesting, because ironically, it makes it harder as someone who is experienced with RPGs, because it wants you to, like, use the context menu more, because, like, it'll tell you things, and then as a lot more, like, when you go and do a mission, the other characters that are with you, which there are a lot, will comment on everything, and, like, using their expertise will tell you, like, hey, maybe you should do this, or whatever. Like, I had to flush a giant rat out of a chimney that was in a woman's house, and it's attracted to the smell of a particular kind of leaf. So I had to put a leaf in the chimney using the context menu, and then I had to talk to my wizard party member so she could cast a fireball, like, to light the leaf on fire, and then the smoke would rise and then cause because the rat doesn't like the smell, would cause it to run out. And then we had to fight. Then we had to fight it in an RPG battle. But, when you play an RPG of any sort, you get told, hey, you have to get rid of a giant rat in my house. You just assume it's going to be combat immediately. And I had to, like, do a whole puzzle sequence, basically, to flush it out, which was interesting. It was a cute, neat little game. I want to mess around with it more. But anyway, that's all. I partially just so I could share also stuff I was doing with 6, but on the air. All right, with that.
All right.
Man, I could have grabbed some good English Kondo lines, because he also, when drawing his manga, loves to drop, here's a commander guy speaking in Japanese, but then he needs to say an expletive, and he just drops it in English, like yell shit or something. Which is always funny to me. But I don't have one of those at the ready.
Unfortunately, the lines from his interview are very... They're not great, like, pull quotes. You know?
No.
I think... Yeah, no, sorry.
Hold on.
He shit talks the Zeta a little bit.
What? Oh no! Wait, okay.
Not as a design, right?
Oh, just like what as a...
But he says the Zeta Gundam could transform, so I think it would be structurally unsuitable for close combat.
I mean, okay, yeah, that's...
Yeah.
You know what? He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
He's just saying, in universe, this is not a good melee suit.
Yeah, no, that's not incorrect, actually. I mean, yeah. I mean, to be fair, that comes... Well, no, that comes up with the Hyakushiki, not really with the...
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I was really trying to find someone saying, like, I don't know, motherfucker or something in English just in the middle of a manga page to throw in there. But... Oh! Here we are! Found it! It's not for a Gundam one, but I don't care anymore. It's for some random war manga he drew.
T80 fucking.
Alright. Peace.
Great. Peace.